So you have questions about engine blocks for your build? And stay tuned. Welcome back to In the Garage. If you remember from our intro video, this is our Mighty Mouse project where we're going to be building out a Chevy small block engine. We've got our block ready to start the project. We're going to talk about some of the things and the decisions we made in the block we chose and the kind of engine we're building. As I've stated in the introduction video, what you want to make sure you keep in mind is you've got to make all your planning on the front end so you get the right parts, the right block, and everything you need to do the project the way you want to. So come in closer and we'll take a look at the block we've chosen and kind of what to look for when it comes back from your machine shop. So what we've chosen to build is a pretty standard Chevy small block engine. It's going to be a 30 over block, which means a 30 over standard bore for the pistons themselves. It's going to have a 4-bolt main that we're going to actually look at here in a second. It's a 2-piece rear main. Again, we'll show that to you in just a second. And one of the things you want to keep in mind when choosing your block is not every small block Chevy is the same. It's going to have a lot of differences in material, in the way it's set up, what it came out of, what years it was actually produced. So there's a couple things to keep in mind. If you look on the rear driver's side of the block, there's actually the part number for the block itself. The ones that you want to be most interested in are 010 and 020 part numbers. That's going to be the last 3 numbers in the part number for the block is a 010 or a 020. This is a 010 block. It means it's got a very good material that's been used with. It's a good strong block. It's a cast iron block. It's going to hold up for years. If you come in closer, we'll show you this is the deck of the heads. There's a couple of different ways to have a engine block set up or prepared at your machine shop. One is to have the deck machined. Having a machine deck block is a great way to make sure it's sealed. This one has not been machined. The way you would know if you had a machine deck is it would be a high polish finish, kind of like the inside of the pistons. You would know that that deck had been machined. This one has been checked. It's true. It's flat. It's going to give us a good seal with the head, so we didn't worry about machining this deck itself. If you'll notice right here, there's a point that I pointed to earlier is the material it's made of. This is a high zinc block, and you can see where some repair has been done to the decking itself, where they've added some weld in and then machined it back down. You can see that there. That's not a problem. It's not an issue you need to be concerned with. This has been properly done. The welding is fine. It's going to hold up for years to come. Things to keep in mind when you're looking at your block when it comes back from the machine shop is to make sure that everything's nice and smooth within the pistons. Make sure all your freeze plugs have been properly installed by the machine shop and that your cam bearings are already in. You can have it shown up with a paint job on it, or you can paint it yourself. That's your choice. But usually you can have the machine shop do the painting for the block itself for you, as this one has been done, but you can do that yourself as well. So I'm going to turn this over real quick and we'll look at some of the bottom end of this block, and then we'll show you what we're going to do next. So if you come in a little closer, what you'll see is this is a 4-bolt main setup. These are the caps for the crankshaft bearing assembly. They have 4 bolts on each cap. This gives it a very strong setup. It aligns well. It's actually the one that most people prefer to use when they're building out their engines. These are also, if you come in closer, you can see the part number here has an N at the end of it. This is nodular steel caps. They're very strong. They'll stand up for years. It's definitely another way sought after option on these blocks. So you can see this is what people are talking about, is these 3 main caps for the crankshaft are 4 bolts. When you hear somebody say it's a 4-bolt main assembly, that's what they're talking about. If you come back here, you can see this is where the rear seal assembly is. When people say it's a 2-piece rear main seal, that's this, and we'll show one to you when we get it installed, but it means that the bottom part of the rear main seal actually can be unbolted, and the seal itself is in 2 pieces. It makes it a little easier to do that repair on these engines, and they do stand up very well. So when somebody says it's a 2-piece rear main, that's what they're talking about on the block, that this rear seal, oil seal, is actually a 2-piece gasket instead of a 1-piece gasket. A common thing that you'll hear when people are building engines is the bore and stroke of the block or the engine itself. The bore of the engine is actually the diameter of the piston itself. That's the bore. So this is a 30 over bore block. That means it's 30 over the standard block setup. That gives you a little extra room when you're building the engine. It's a common setup for these engines. So 30 over is something you're going to see a lot of. As far as the stroke itself, that's the actual cycle of the piston up and down within the piston cylinder. So this one is a 3.5 inch. It's a little more than stock, but it's pretty close to what stock is. A 3.5 inch stroke, 30 over bore engine is what we've got here. You hear that a lot. So let's take a look at some other things.